All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Nap, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. Let's see what's going on in the news, man. I was reading something. It said, the wild monitor lizard. There's these big ass lizards. It says the Nile monitor lizard. It's a big ass lizard that got claws and shit, and they're finding them in South Florida. So I was looking into it. Let me see if I can find these bad boys right here. Big ass lizards in Florida. They're popping up. They're called the invasive Nile monitor lizards, which can grow over 6 feet long, are established in South Florida, particularly Lee, Palm Beach, and Broward counties. These large olive-black predators are skilled swimmers and climbers that pose a significant threat to native wildlife, small pets, and sometimes property. They are not protected, and sightings should be reported to the FWC. So then I looked into it, to see, because I know those things, I've seen it bite like this wild, I've seen it in the wild. I used to watch a lot of wild, animal shit, animal kingdom type things. And they used to bite buffalo or something like that. And just a small little bite, it would, the buffalo would get away, but then it would bleed out because it says they got a venomous sting that has anticoagulant properties, which pretty much makes you to keep bleeding out. So watch out for those, man. As a matter of fact, speaking on that, I was in the news yesterday. I thought that was crazy. Second Edge is 5. I think it's Second Edge is 5. It tells you that, let's just read it. I think it's here. Let me look it up first because I don't want to read it and it's not in the chapter. Wild beasts shall change their place. Let's see what that said. Second Edge is 5. Let's start at the top. Second Edge is 5, verse 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. So, concerning the tokens are the signs that we see, and we're seeing a bunch of signs right now. We're seeing World War III. We see them fighting in the Middle East. He's stirring up the kings. Second Edge is 15 and 20. The Medes are participating. He's putting hooks in their jaws. That's Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. So these are signs, things that match up with prophecy. Those are the signs. We see that, gas prices are going up, which affects your food. So that also goes into, that's the signs too. Okay? Second Edge is chapter 5. And it says, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number. So they that dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number. So you're hearing about people getting put to death, but those numbers are going to keep going up, rising and rising, especially with these different wars that people are fighting in these different countries. So you're going to hear great numbers of death. You're going to hear about, just like what happened in Turkey. I think maybe a year or two ago, there was a massive earthquake that killed 50,000 people. That's one sign, but now there hasn't been that much great destruction since then. So you're going to hear it more commonly. 50,000 here, 10,000 people got put to death here, 2,000, 3,000. Especially when these wars kick off, because according to Isaiah the 9th chapter, it's not going to be fought conventionally. It's going to be with those drones and those missiles. I just did a video last night talking about how these drones, the Iranians are threatening California. So if you're living over there, you might get drone strikes. That's what the FBI is reporting in ABC News. That they're threatening to bomb America for the shit that they did over there. So when you read Isaiah 47 and um, when it says, I shall not be sorrowful, I forgot what that's at, but Isaiah 47 says, you shall no more be called delicate, man. You're about to get hit. Delicate woman is somebody that, she ain't never been hit before, so she's very, you can tell, Imagine a virgin compared to a slut whore. You can see the difference. One ain't never been hit. If you had to choose between the two, you probably should choose the one that look like she been hit multiple times. Okay, so that's kind of like what America's like, because they ain't never been hit by missiles. And now these Iranians are threatening you to hit you with drones. Now their drones can't really reach over here, so I don't know how they're gonna do it, but maybe they have, like they said before, when a bunch of drone sightings in New Jersey, they said there was this mother drone ship, that all these drones were going back into the East Coast and going inside. So somebody was sending those drones. Who knows who they were? But going back to 2nd Esdras 5:1, you're going to hear about great numbers of people getting put to death. And the way of truth shall be hidden. So the way of truth shall be hidden because Amos 8:11, it tells you that there's going to be a famine of the word. So the word's not going to be, no one's going to hear the word anymore. You're going to be hearing these Christian pastors who don't know what the hell they're talking about. But the truth, there's a difference between the truth and just teaching about the Bible, man. They're going to be trying to come up against us. I'm already having issues with my channel. They're blocking my channel. They always messing with me, man. They ain't giving me no strikes, though, so the Lord is fighting. He's allowing me to say what I'm saying. He's protecting my First Amendment rights right now. But he's going to be taking it away from y'all. And once that happens, you're through. You're done. No more Constitution for you. You already don't have it, but you don't know that yet. Eventually, it's going to be made evident. 2nd Esdras 5:1. And the land shall be barren of faith. So you ain't nobody going to have any faith. They ain't going to have faith in the true power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. They're going to have faith in this system. They're going to have faith in false God. So that you ain't really going to have any faith. And the men who do have some form of faith, they're going to lose it. They're going to lose it when these tribulations come through. Some of us that have been teaching this word, we're going to be losing our faith. Okay, that faith is only for the elect. The elect are not going to run out of faith. That's the difference between them and the rest of this world. They're not going to run. There's no amount of tribulation that's going to allow them to forsake their power. Just like Job, he went through a bunch of different things. And did he forsake his power? No, he didn't. Okay, that's why he's a representation of the elect. He lost his whole family. All right, he got plague in his body, and he didn't forsake the Lord, and he didn't get put to death. Okay, 2nd Esdras chapter 5, verse 2. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. So iniquity is sin. That's going to increase more so than which you ever seen before, especially during Jacob's trouble. So you see sin now, you worried about the Epstein files. That's going to be made manifest in front of your face. The shit that they doing, the drinking of blood in front of your face. These people, they don't have any integrity. So these people will eat human meat any day of the week. They do it now. All right? So don't think that you ain't living in it's always been evil here in Babylon, man. This is the most wicked kingdom ever. Don't think these people won't do it. I've been watching this show, I forgot the name of it, Fallout. I'm about on episode 6 now. And this girl, she came out of the vault. She don't understand how people lived on top of Earth. She's all naive to shit that's going on. And you don't want to be like that, man. You don't want to be naive, man. These things are actually going on. This nigga puts it in the movies because it's going on. It's always him doing some abominable act. He's the one drinking the blood. He's the vampire in the movie. I mean, Eddie Murphy played a vampire too. But some of these niggas too, they're gonna be doing that shit too. You're gonna be in survival mode. All right. But the moral of the story is, man, it's gonna be chaotic out here, man. It ain't gonna be. You gotta have faith in order to maintain your integrity. That's part of the curses. You read Leviticus the 26th chapter talks about eating the fruit of your womb. Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Those are curses that the Lord put on people who disobeyed him. So there's a lot of disobedient people out here. So that's why they're going to do that. Those curses are falling upon our enemies. So that's part of the curses. Okay? Eating human meat. You might like it though. Who knows? You're about to be faced with that. Second Esdras, ask Esau. He knows how it tastes. Chapter 5, verse 3. In the land that thou seest now to have root, shall thou see wasted suddenly. So the land that you see today, that's taking root, you're going to see it wasted suddenly. Okay? You see how everything's nice and flowing. You got everything's working. Everyone's doing what they want to do. The Lord's about to put a stop to all of that. He's about to put a wrench in everybody's day. You thought you were going to work? Oh, sorry, the building got blown up by an Iranian drone. We gotta fix this. You thought you can get into your apartment? Oh, cyber attack. Can't get in the bank. And that's before the destruction. There's going to be a accumulation of different events that's going to cause this place to be destroyed. It's not a sudden event. That MOTB is going to be established. That Jacob's trouble's coming. The sudden event is really the speedy riddance that the Lord's going to get away with doing with this place, like it tells you in Zephaniah 1. He's going to destroy it in an hour. That's talking about the thermonuclear missiles, but there's a lot of tribulation you got to get to before you even get to that. Okay. Second Esdras chapter 5. I don't know why I keep saying 1. Second Esdras 5, verse 4. But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day. So if he allows you to live, man, all right? If the Most High grant thee to live, so he's the one who got power over life and death, like it tells you in Psalm 68, verse 20. Right? He's the one who got who give you belongeth the issues from death. Okay, that's who we're pleading to. We're asking him to forgive us for our sins. First of all, pardon us for that, because he don't like any iniquity, and all of us have sinned. Okay, the whole nation of Israel sinned. So if you think you're more holier than somebody else, you're out of your damn mind, man. From the top to the bottom, everybody's wicked in the eyes of the Lord. You better endure unto the end. You better hold on to this truth, whatever he's given you, or you're going to be destroyed. Second Esdras chapter 5, verse 5. And blood shall drop out of wood, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled. So the blood shall drop out of the wood, which is symbolic of mass death. A lot of blood. Okay? A lot of destruction, a lot of people crying, a lot of tribulation. Okay? And you can only imagine a city where there's civil unrest, where there's no food to eat, and everybody's wicked. No one's keeping the law. So they're not going to be defended in these last days. Hence why you need a man of the Lord. Even the men need a man of the Lord, man. You need to be around people who are going to be, who Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai is dealing with in these last days. Because with them, that's where you're going to eat. That's how you're going to live. It tells you in the book of Psalms 34, and I think 34 or 37 and 37. I know it's like something like that. 34. Psalm 34 and verse 34. Nope, that's not it. It might be 37. Psalm 37 and verse 37. It says, mark the perfect man and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. So the end of that man is peace, which goes into rest, which goes into sound mind, which goes into pretty much salvation. Okay? The end of that man's going to be peace. He's going to get the victory. So you want to mark him, meaning watch him. Okay? That's who you want to watch. If you believe the Lord's dealing with him, that's who you should be paying attention to. And the Lord's dealing with a lot of men these days. And it's not like know there's some men that ain't in this truth that are men of the Lord too. You know, I was watching this damn skinhead, and for some reason I think he's a man of the Lord because he's not just coming from a hateful heart. He's actually, he ain't even being racist. He's just pointing out the facts. You know, but he hasn't received the word yet. That will tie everything, because you might have all this knowledge about different things that's going on in the world, but if you can't tie it back to the Bible, man, you're lost. You don't understand nothing. You're a fool. But we all were like that at one point. We all knew about the different conspiracy theories and things like that. A lot of us always read the Bible. I read the Bible my whole life. But then the Lord give you the Spirit to give you His name and give you the truth in the understanding of the Bible. Then it ties everything together. Now your eyes are open, and that only happens. Something just unlocks it with you. It just happens like that. It's a gift from the Lord. So you got to mark the perfect man. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 verse 6. And even he shall rule whom they look not for that dwell upon the earth, and the fowls shall take their flight away together. Even he shall rule whom they not look for that dwell upon the earth. Even he shall rule whom they not look for that dwell upon the earth. That sounds like Jacob, man. It tells you in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, verse 5, he that was not thought of hath put on the crown. And who's that talking about? That's talking about Jacob. Nobody's expecting him to have a crown on his head with a scepter in his hand, sitting on a throne, judging the rest of the world. But that's going to happen. Let me grab this in Ecclesiastes 11, verse 5. It says, many kings have sat down upon the ground. So many kings that sat down upon the ground. Esau's a king. And it tells you in Isaiah 47, come down, sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. So that's talking about him. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O child of the or daughter of the Chaldeans. So there's no throne for him. Okay, so he's a king right now who's going to be taken out of power. Ecclesiastes 11 and 5, and one that was never thought of have won the crown. He never thought the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American had were gonna wear the crown, but they're gonna be. They're gonna be ruling over you people very soon. 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 7. And the Sodomite sea shall cast out fish and make a noise in the night, which many have not known, but they shall all hear the voice thereof. They got this doomsday fish that comes up, and it came up maybe a couple years ago. It just floats up to the top. They don't come up for no other reason unless something wrong's going on in the world. Hence why they call it the doomsday fish. So that it already poked its head up. I don't know if it makes a sound. The Sodomite sea is actually talking about the Dead Sea. Okay, because nothing can really be in there. Okay, when you look it up. But that's another sign. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 in verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be often sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. So menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. That's why you got the term YN. You see these YNs? That's coming from these menstruous women. They're monsters. Okay? And then the wild beasts shall change their places. I was going into this Nile, the Nile lizard that's in South Florida. That'll bite you, and it got anticoagulant properties, so you just bleed out if you don't get to the hospital in time. Okay, it says the Nile. The Nile's in Africa. What the hell is it? How does it get from Africa all the way over to South Florida? That's the wild beasts changing their places. And who else? We also saw, I forgot, it was in North Carolina. Who said he saw? It was a mountain lion. He said he walked by a mountain lion. Gonna believe Jake. He said he looked at the mountain lion, and the mountain lion looked at him. And then they kept it moving. So that already goes to show you, man, these wild beasts, what is it doing in the city? It's starting to rain now. What is it doing in the city? What it's doing in the city is It's going to be there for judgment. Second Esdras chapter 5, in verse number 9. And salt waters shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber. So wit is knowledge. It's going to hide itself. So you ain't going to know why the things that are happening. Isaiah 24. And verse 11, it says, there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. So there's a crying for wine in the streets. Wine is the truth. Okay? When you're looking for the truth, you're going to be not understanding why these things are going on. They're going to be protesting, not understanding why things happen in the way, because it's prophecy. You're going to listen to the duck. You're going to lie to you, and you're not going to know why these things are happening, but it's because of the Lord using the duck to create all these situations that you see down here on the earth. Create high inflation and make your goods cost more, and your gas prices to increase, and your safety to decline. That's why they're threatening Iranian drones in California for you. They also said they're going to be attacking Israeli and U.S. banks over there in the Middle East. Who knows? They might do cyber attacks too. Second Esdras chapter 5 verse 10, it shall be sought of many and yet not be found. Then shall and then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied on the earth, which is sin. Unrighteousness and incontinency. Okay, that's gonna increase. It should be multiplied upon the earth, and it's already multiplied a lot, but it's gonna continue to multiply. All right. You should read Leviticus 26:15 on down, and Deuteronomy 28:15 on down. It talks about your store and your basket. That's talking about your money. All right, that's going to be cursed. All right, yokes of iron, just like we had to wear the yokes of iron. Some of y'all going to go into captivity. Now they're going to put an actual yoke on your neck. Who knows? Who knows? But that is symbolic of captivity. All right, being afraid, that's part of Deuteronomy 28. All of these curses are going to be upon all of our enemies and the wicked 2/3 of our nation. They're going to be faced with some horrible times. You're going to see how it is to be in a siege in Babylon back in the day, or 70 AD. You're going to feel what that feels like. Second Esdras 5:11, one land also shall ask another and say, is righteousness that maketh the man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, no. Yeah, has righteousness gone through thee? Let's look that up. He's asking a question. He said, and the man shall say no. There ain't going to be any righteousness. Second Esdras chapter 5, and Second Ezra chapter 5, verse 11. That's not even a precept. Let me look it up real quick. Let's see what that means. It says, here land represents nations or countries. The prophecy is saying that different nations will look at each other, wondering if true righteousness still exists anywhere on the earth, right? Because every nation is going to be doing their own thing, man. Tells you, as the ruler of the city is, so are the people, in Ecclesiasticus, the 10th chapter. So if your leaders can't find any righteousness, imagine all the way at the bottom. gonna be like that movie Platform, where there's a hole in the ground and there's two people on each floor going all the way to like 600 floors or 606 something like that. And at the top, there's a bunch of food, and as the food comes all the way down, it gets to a certain level, there's no more food, and then the people at the bottom, they're killing and eating each other because they didn't have any order to have discipline and only eat what they ordered. You know, so it was symbolic of how this system is run. The people at the top eat the best, and then at the bottom, shit, you ain't gonna have any food. Okay? But you gotta trust in the Lord. 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse number 12. At the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. And that's you're gonna start to see that. More you work and work and work. This is because he's gonna break your staff of bread. That's number one. You're gonna lose your job. Isaiah 19 and 15. Ezekiel 5 in the last two verses. You're gonna break your staff of bread. You're gonna be faced with taking the chip. That might not even get you fed, man. That might only get you a chip. Maybe he might give you a lollipop and a sticker, and then that's it. Now you're condemned to death, and you fell over. A lot of y'all gonna do that. He ain't gonna have any food. And if he does have food, it ain't what you think it is, man. It's gonna be mystery meat. I'm telling you right now, it's probably gonna be somebody that he put to death, because that's what their plan is anyways. You're gonna have a bunch of taking your kidneys and shit like that, man, your liver, and so they can live 150 years like that Chinese dude said. He said the Chinese, I got his name, he be talking about that. So that's why they want to kill a lot of y'all, probably to harvest your organs, so they can live 150 years. And they got all these wars and different dead bodies, man. They're gonna have a lot of parts that they can use to achieve that goal. But see, the way they got to do it is on the left-hand side. The Lord ain't going through multiple kidney replacements and livers and changing his heart out and his brain so he can live forever. He just wants you to be obedient. He showed you how to get immortality. You just got to walk in his steps. You got to glorify the Lord, and he gonna glorify you. And this is the time to do it, man. 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 13. To show thee such tokens I have leave, and if thou wilt pray again and weep as now, and fast 7 days, thou shalt hear yet greater things. So Ezra had to fast and weep. So this is, he's seeing these visions, man. In order to get more, he had to fast. He was praying for, you read 2nd Ezra, the 8th chapter. He was asking the Lord a bunch of questions, trying to get the understanding of when these things are going to happen. And just all the typical questions you would ask the Lord if you were in front of him about what's going to happen to the nation of Israel and all of these things. And he didn't tell him everything, but he gave him more insight on when he's coming. That's what these prophecies are for. That's the measuring stick that his prophets are supposed to use, and take the times and then figure out how close we are. Even though we know we're really close, we're still looking for even more signs. We want to see how close, even as close as we can get to it. Well, we know, microscopically we're right there. But on a day-to-day, he reveals even more things, just how he's doing it, little smaller steps. Every day, you just know you're just getting closer to this point. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 14. Then I awaked, and an extreme fearfulness went through all my body, and my mind was troubled so that it fainted. So the angel that was come to talk with me held me, comforted me, and set me up upon my feet. And in the second night it came to pass that Salathiel, the captain of the people, came unto me, saying, Where hast thou been? And why is thy countenance so heavy? That's who this Salathiel is. Where's my phone at? Salathiel. This is 2nd Ezra 5 and verse 16. celestial. This shows Ezra receiving visions over multiple nights. The Lord was revealing prophecies about the end times and the condition of the world, which deeply troubled Ezra. Celestial, the captain of the people. Shealtiel was a leader among the Israelites. Yeah, Shealtiel was the father of Zerubbabel, I think. Let me double check, because I'm thinking about I think it's Ezra the fourth. Let's find out. Shealtiel. Was he the father of Zerubbabel? Zerubbabel. Yes. Shealtiel is described in the scriptures as the father of Zerubbabel. It's just spelled different. So 2 Ezra 15 and 16, because Ezra was born during that time. He was around that time with Nehemiah, Zerubbabel, Shealtiel, the high priest, what's his name? I think it's Josedek. Or Joshua, the high priest, Joshua. Let me read it though. So that's what that's talking about. Let's see what else it says. Captain of the people means a chief of or ruler over the nation, meaning the name. Shealtiel meaning I have asked of God or asked of the Most High. He notices Ezra's distress and asks what is wrong. Where has thou been? Shealtiel asked Ezra where he had gone, because Ezra had likely separated himself to pray, fast, and meditate after seeing the visions. Prophets often withdrew themselves after receiving heavy revelations. Why is this countenance so heavy? And that's the spirit too, because in order for me to get this truth, the Lord really put me low, man. I was homeless for a while. You had a lot of time to be alone. And that's when he was just flooding with all these scriptures. You know, and a lot of brothers probably got similar stories, man. The Lord, something happened where he just fucked up your whole life, and then he gave you the word. You know, and he gave you the truth. He gave it to he had to break up that fallow ground so he can plant that seed, so it can grow, so it can continue to grow. He's trying to get his word out. You know, it tells you in Ecclesiastes, it's the 2nd chapter. You got to prepare yourself when you come into this truth, man. You got to prepare yourself, man. Sometimes he can take you low and destroy you. Walking around aimlessly, like most of these niggas out here. I see that kid all the time. He don't know a fucking hand from his foot. Out of his damn mind. So that's Shealtiel. And anything else? Why is that countenance so heavy? Countenance means facial expressions or appearance. Ezra looked deeply troubled and sorrowful because of the visions about destruction on the earth, wickedness of the world, suffering of Israel. See? This is the end times. Okay, and he's learning about that way back then. And his countenance, his facial expressions are different. So he's receiving these visions during a time when we were supposed to be building the kingdom. No, not the kingdom, the temple, the second temple. During the Persians. Here he is getting all this information from the Most High. 2 Ezra chapter 5, and verse 17. Knowest thou not that Israel is committed unto thee in the land of their captivity? Up then and eat bread, and forsake us not, as the shepherd that leaveth his flock in the hands of cruel wolves. Right. You know, so Shealtiel was telling them, man, but Shealtiel wasn't getting the visions. No, he was fasting so he can get more of the vision. He was in the spirit. The should tell him to eat some bread, man. You look, what the hell's wrong with you, man? Where the hell you been at? I was looking for you, man. Eat some bread, man. You look all weak. That's why Ezra said he fainted. Then the angel helped him stand upon his feet, just like Daniel. Same thing. He was weak too. All it took was an angel just to touch you. You don't even need food. You don't even need water. It's just the angel. You don't need nothing. It's nothing for the Lord to just give you strength, man. That's where the strength comes from the Lord. It don't even come from your food, man. That's the spirit. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 19. Then said I unto him, Go thy ways from me, and come not nigh me. And he heard what I said, and he went from me. So see, prophets should have told him, but we miss you. He said, Go thy way, man. Kept it moving. This is the governor of the people. You know, you read 2 Samuel. You know, the prophets, man, they got a heavy dose of the spirit, man. 2nd Samuel. Is it 2 Samuel? No, it's definitely 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 9. And no, it's not. He basically, prophets asked him, comest thou peaceably? Forgot where that precept is at. Because, you know, the prophets are, I'm trying to explain is they're different, man. And clearly people understood that their roles was different from theirs. Okay. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 20. And so I fasted 7 days, mourning and weeping, like as Uriel the angel commanded me. So that's who the angel that was sent to Ezra was. His name was Uriel. That's who he's talking to in 2nd Ezra. He's getting these visions from him. He's the one that's communicating with Ezra. All right. 2nd Ezra chapter 5. Verse 21, and after 7 days, so it was that the thoughts of my heart were very grievous unto me again. So 7 days fasting. You fast for 3 days, man, you feel a week. 7 days is a lot to fast, man. You ain't got no strength, man. They probably had more strength then because the food didn't have all these preservatives in it. You know, the quality of what he was eating was better than what we eat today. But you know, and it tells you, I forgot what chapter it is, but it tells you how the seed gets weaker and weaker. You know, so, you know, going back to Ezra being, 7 days is crazy, never mind 40 days with the Lord. And Moses fasted too. He was sustained. Yahweh Shah was sustained. He didn't eat bread or water. The Lord sustained his, that's where his strength was coming from. It wasn't because of himself. It was because of the Lord. That's why he told Satan, a man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Heavenly Father. That's a hard precept to really digest, man. Especially you don't have to, that's going to be one of the major precepts to be thinking upon. And not being able to eat, and the Lord strengthening you. 2nd Ezra chapter 5, in verse 22, and my soul recovered the spirit of understanding, and I began to talk with the Most High again, and said, O Lord, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one only vine. Right, that one only vine is Israel. Well, actually, excuse me. His favorite plant is the vine, which is the grape. You have chosen thee one only vine. So the Lord that's his chosen tree. Out of all the trees, he chose the vine. Okay? Second Ezra chapter 5, verse 23, it says, O Lord, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one only vine, which is the grapevine. And of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. One pit goes into the land, and that's Jerusalem. And of all the flowers thereof, one lily. So he likes out of all the flowers, he likes the lily. Out of all the lands, he likes Jerusalem. Out of all the trees, he likes the vine. And he's revealing these things to who? His servants, the prophets, like it tells you in Amos 3:7. Okay? A lot of people don't know that about the Most High, his favorite plants, his favorite land. You got somebody, what's his favorite land? America. He blessed America, didn't he? These people are foolish. Okay? Second Ezra chapter 5, verse 25. And of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled thee one river. That one river is the Jordan River. Okay? All the depths of the sea, that's his river. That's why he baptized his son in the Jordan River. Okay? Second Ezra 5, verse 25, in the middle. And of all the builded cities thou hast hallowed Zion unto thyself. Yeah, Zion is Jerusalem. Okay? That's why when the northern kingdom split, Amos told you, the Lord's, he's over there in Jerusalem, man. He ain't dealing with Bethel and Dan. He's still there. You better return back. They didn't put Amos to death, the northern kingdom, the Latinos and Native Americans. You don't fuck with the prophets like that. Now the Lord allowed us, the prophets to die in a fourth time, but this time it ain't gonna be the same thing, man. You people are gonna get put to death. Esau too. Now he's gonna have some of his men, of course they're gonna die, but it ain't gonna be no regular death. It's gonna be a glorious death, the best death you could ask for. Okay? And if he put you to death before then, hey, he said your works follow you. It tells you in, I believe it's Revelation, the first chapter, it tells you henceforth, those who, blessed are they who die in this truth. It's roughly paraphrasing. It's basically, blessed are all they who die in the Lord from henceforth. So you're blessed if you believe in Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai until the end. So that's probably one jewel that's just guaranteed, and that's Israel. You trust in Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, you consider yourself blessed. Okay. Now your blessing isn't fully come yet, but that's a token. Okay. Second Ezra chapter 5, verse 26. And of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named thee one dove. So the dove, he loves the dove. Out of all the birds, the fowls are the birds. He loves the dove is his favorite. Okay. And of all the cattle that are made, thou hast provided thee one sheep. So he loves sheep. Out of all the cattle. Right? So the Lord is showing you that you don't have to like every single beast. You don't like to like every single flower, every single land, every single river. Just because he created it, he got an elect of the lands, an elect of the chosen that he favors the most out of all of these things. Even the birds. Okay? Just like a people. Just like Israel. He likens them unto sheep. That's why the Lord said in Matthew 10:5, I'm not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He was here to get the Lord's sheep, getting his people right. Right? He's not sending these other nations to come out and talk about the last days and go preach the Bible and put up YouTube videos and deal with scoffers on comment boards and shit like that. Dealing with all these demons and shit. To a gainsaying and rebellious people. He's not doing that. You go talk to the so-called white man, he's blessed, he's gonna rule forever with thrones. Shit, he's all for that. He'll say hallelujah. He'll start singing and dancing in the street, waving his hand. He'll start crying and weeping. But his kingdom's over, and that's what we're seeing. So all that rape, rob, and murder got him nothing. All that killing, hanging niggas in the street got you nothing. And we still here. You should have killed us all, but you can't. You damn fool. And then when it's your turn, you're going to be utterly destroyed. You damn devils, man. Second Ezra chapter 5, verse 27. And among all the multitudes of peoples, thou hast gotten thee one people, and unto this people whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved above all. So he shows you who he loved by giving you his law. Okay? You show who you love by being obedient to them. So he's giving them his law to show you how to please him. And who knows how to do that? The nation of Israel. That's the only one who knows how to do that. Okay? Second Ezra chapter 5 and verse 28. And now, O Lord, why hast thou given this one people over unto many? And upon one root hast thou prepared others? And why hast thou scattered thy only one people among many? Yeah, why you scatter us? Deuteronomy 28 verse 64. Okay? If you love them so much. And that's the same question. Ezra cracks me up because he should know Deuteronomy 28 verse 64. He should know, asking that question, maybe he's just asking because the Spirit was on him, but for y'all who don't know, it's because we transgress the laws, but he understands that he's the one who man's goings are of the Lord. Okay, so man can't even understand his own way. So why do you have us to go off pretty much? But we understand that he did that because this is all, it's like school, it's like practice. He's showing you, he's raising a nation to become kings of the earth, kings and priests. Okay, we're going to be the example forever down here on the earth. So we had to go through the most. These nations ain't meant to rule, man. That's why they don't go through too much. All right, this is their portion. He gave them, and it was righteous. He gave them the chance. So when everything gets flipped upside down and we ruling over them, they're gonna understand. Like, damn, this people was. They were the lowest. They've been through the most, and they're the most sized sons and daughters. So why wouldn't we serve them when they're in their rightful position? These other nations couldn't go through what the nation of Israel had gone through. They would have been destroyed because they don't have our power. They don't have our laws. They would have destroyed themselves. Even Ishmael. If they didn't have Esau to fight, they would just kill each other until they'd be destroyed. If Esau just left and there was no Israelites, these heathen would kill themselves. Or Esau would kill all of them and then kill himself. All right, so the whole point of it is to put the nation of Israel through the furnace so he can get that perfect fruit, that perfect people that he's always wanted. And he chose us to go through the furnace of affliction. And he had it where we went off, so it's all our fault. So he don't have any iniquity. So you gotta bear the indignation of the Lord. This is his program. But when it's all said and done, you're gonna be thanking the Lord for all eternity for allowing you to go through the process. You go through all this affliction. You're going to be praising him forever. And you're going to know that he's worthy to be praised. And that he chose the right nation to rule the earth. by setting up the bases of men and allowing his righteous to come up out of it. 2 Ezra chapter 5 and verse 29. And they which did gainsay thy promises and believed not thy covenants have trodden them down. Yeah, that's Israel. We trodden down the covenants and the promises, trying to serve these other nations. And some of y'all still do that to this day. I was watching the elder from, I think, DC. Most Christians don't get me mad, but he did a video on a Christian. He's saying, all black Christians, you should, don't listen to the Hebrew Israelites. You should run when you see them. Why is that? They should listen to you? He didn't even bring out any scriptures. That's how you know he's a demon. He couldn't even gainsay properly. But some people, they get that weak-ass spirit. Oh, this is it.
Is this here for the inscription with the...
I don't know what it's for. It's locked, but there's another door on this side. Okay, but I think that's locked too. I've seen people. This looks like an empty building. What the hell are they doing in here? What the fuck is this place? Everything's in Spanish. I don't know what this is. Someone's always coming here and nobody's able to get in. I don't know if they Googling something, trying to find a certain location, and then they switched it. I never see anybody like actually working here. 2 Ezra chapter 5 and verse 30. If thou didst so much hate thy people, yet shouldest thou punish them with thine own hands? Yeah, shouldn't you punish us and not the heathen? But this is his hand. These different nations are his hand whipping our ass, like it tells you in Psalms 17 chapter. It's the Lord doing it. Psalm 17 and 1, a prayer of David. Hear the right, O Lord, attend unto my cry, give ear unto my prayer that goeth not out of feigned lips. Let my sentence come forth from my presence. Let thine eyes behold the things that are equal. Thou hast proved my heart. Thou hast visited me in the night. Thou hast tried me, and shalt find nothing. I am purpose that my mouth shall not transgress. Concerning the works of men, by the word of thy lips, I have kept me from the paths of the destroyer. Hold up my goings in thy paths, that my footsteps slip not. Slakia. Psalm 17 and 6, I have called upon thee, for thou wilt hear me, O power. Incline thine ear unto me, and hear my speech. Show thy marvelous love and kindness, O thou that savest by the right hand them which put their trust in thee, from those that rise up against them. Thou that savest from thy right hand. And who's on his right hand? That's Yahweh Shai. That's how he's going to save us. So his right hand is the Lord, Yahweh Shai. That's how he's going to save us, but I'm going to keep reading. Keep me as the apple of the eye, Psalm 17 and 8. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings, from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. Talking about these different heathen nations. They are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. And that's Esau. Psalm 17 and verse 11. They have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth. And that's what he does. He looks up in the satellite so he can look at you. Psalm 17 and 12, like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. He's like a young lion lurking in secret places. Okay, he's always watching you, just like he does with his police, like he does with these cameras all over the place, like it tells you in Psalms, the 10th chapter. Psalm 17 and verse 13, arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. From men which are thy hand. So there you go. So from men which are thy hand. So your right hand is how he's going to save you, and his left hand is how he punishes you. Okay, let me finish it though. Psalm 17 and verse 13, arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked. Malachi 1:4, who's the wicked? Esau. Which is thy sword. So that's the sword. That's the tool that he's using to punish you. Like it tells you in Isaiah 10 and 5. O Assyrian, the rod of thy anger is my indignation. So just like the Assyrians, those are not Edomites. He used them to come destroy the northern kingdom. Okay, so that was his sword. That's his sword. But who's holding the sword? The Lord is. Okay, that's how he was whipping your ass. Then he set up judges, right? You got Samson, that's his right hand. That was one of his saviors. Okay, you got Ehud, that's his right hand. That's one of his saviors. You got Yahushua, of course, that's his savior. That's the last savior. We had multiple saviors. Okay. Who else can I think of? King David was a savior. Who else? Thinking of judges. There's a couple more. I think I can't even think of them all, but you know, he had multiple saviors is what I'm trying to say. Psalm 17 and verse 14, from men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, this is talking about Esau, whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. And where the hid treasure? Okay, where the gold, where the precious stones, he's given us, like it tells you in Isaiah 47. Let me grab that real quick. Isaiah 47, in verse 6. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou verily heavily laid thy yoke. So his inheritance, he's given it into their hand. Psalm 17 and 14, and at the end, they are full of children and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. So that's Esau. Okay. Psalm 17 and 15, as for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. So when we get our new bodies, we will awake with thy likeness. Okay, and with like his son. Okay, be a perfect. Okay, that's all it is. It's a perfection mechanism that the Lord's using here in this world. He's using this wickedness to perfect righteousness. Right? 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and 30 again. If thou didst so much hate thy people, yet shouldest thou punish them with thine own hands. So he punished us with his own hands. That's the point of me bringing it out. And he's going to save us with his right hand. 2nd Ezra 5 verse 31. Now when I had spoken these words, the angel that came to me the night before was sent unto me. And that's Uriel. And said unto me, hear me, and I will instruct thee. Hearken to the thing that I say, and I shall tell thee more. And I said, 2nd Ezra 5 verse 33, speak on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, thou art sore troubled in mind for Israel's sake. Lovest thou that people better than he that made them? Yeah, so you very troubled for the nation of Israel. You know? But the angel's asking him, lovest thou them more than he that made them, which is the Most High, and his son. Okay. And I said, speak on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, thou art sore troubled in mind for Israel's sake. Lovest thou that people better than he that made them? And I said, no, Lord, but of very grief have I spoken, for my reins pain me every hour, while I labor to comprehend the way of the Most High and to seek out part of his judgment. So his reins are going to his kidneys. Okay, you look at the word reins, it goes into your kidneys, man. And it's talking about your inner emotions. So the heart is your mind, which is your inner thoughts, and your reins are your kidneys, which are your inner emotions. Okay, he's troubled for the nation of Israel because he understands that in the next chapter that he made the world for their sakes. But this is all leading up into 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, where he tells you, and Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. It was a whole discussion before we even get to that point. Okay, he had to do a lot of fasting, a lot of suffering, a lot of weeping, a lot of praying to get these revelations. This is not something that was easily obtained. And it's not to be taken lightly. That's why, just like Ezekiel sitting on his side, to let you know that your food's defiled. That's not a that's a heavy revelation. He's letting you know all your food's defiled, everything that you eat. And the Lord gave him that that vision, or gave him that pretty much that prophecy. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and 34 again. And I said, no, Lord, but of very grief have I spoken, for my reins pain me every hour, while I labor to comprehend the way of the Most High, and to seek out part of his judgment. And he said unto me, 2nd Ezra 5 verse 35, thou canst not. And I said, wherefore, Lord? Whereunto was I born then? Or why was not my mother's womb then my grave? That I might not have seen the travail of Jacob, and the wearisome toil of the stock of Israel. Yeah, he didn't want to see Israel going through all of this, man. Okay, so that's how you know you in a low position. See, he knows who he is. Israel don't even know who they are. So that's why Israel ain't really, most of y'all ain't really weeping like that, because you don't really understand what's going on. You too destroyed. When you look at the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who don't know who you are, like dead bodies walking around the earth, like zombies. 2nd Ezra chapter 5. In verse 36, and he said unto me, number me the things that are not yet come. Gather me together the drops that are scattered abroad. Take me the flowers green again that are withered. Yeah, so do all these things that you can't do. And you don't have the knowledge to do. Okay, there's so much you don't even know. It tells you in Isaiah the 55th chapter, my thoughts are not your thoughts. Let's grab that. You don't think like you people out there who don't got any wisdom. Now he's revealing things to his prophets, but it's not for everyone to know. And he only revealing that ain't even everything. He has knowledge of to everlasting. So millions of years into the future, he got that wisdom that we don't even know about. Never mind the things that are going on now. Isaiah 55 and where is it? Isaiah 55 and where does it say my thoughts? Isaiah 55 and 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So that's what you should understand. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and 37. Open me the places that are closed, and bring me forth the winds that in them are shut up. Show me the image of a voice, and then I will declare to thee the thing that thou laborest to know. Yeah, show me all these things, man. So there's already so much you don't even understand, man. You know? Some things that I don't even know what he's really talking about. How do you even begin to show him these things? Yeah, bring him forth the winds that are in them that are shut up. Yeah, where the winds come from? Go find that out first, and I'll tell you everything you laboring to know. How do you get the winds? Where are they stored at? He tells you in the book of Job, I think it's 30 something. Book of Job, chapter 30. 39. Job 39 and 1. Knowest thou the time when the wild goats of the rock bring forth? Or canst thou mark when the hinds do calve? Canst thou number the months that they fulfill? Or knowest thou the time when they bring forth? So The Lord's asking Job all these questions. Job was the same way. He's going through all these afflictions. He wanted to know all this. They bow themselves. Job 39 and 3. They bring forth their young ones. They cast out their sorrows. Their young ones are in good liking. They grow up with corn. They go forth and return not unto them. Who have sent out the wild ass free? Or who have loosed the bands of the wild ass? Whose house I have made the wilderness, in the barren land his dwellings. He scorneth the multitude of the city, neither regardeth the crying of the driver. The range of the mountains is his pasture, and he searcheth after every green thing. Will the unicorn be willing to serve thee, or abide by thy crib? Canst thou bind the unicorn with his band in the furrow, or will he harrow the valleys after thee? Will thou trust him, because his strength is great, or will thou leave thy labor to him? And that's talking about ultimately this truth, going into the satellites, trusting in that his word doesn't go out void. The unicorn's going into his broadcast of his word. Okay, will you trust in him, just like the Lord told you to go teach? That his word doesn't go out void. Okay. Job 39 in verse 12. Will thou believe him, that he will bring home thy seed and gather it into thy barn? That's talking about the elect being brought into the chariots. Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich? Yeah, who gave us the goodly wings unto the peacocks, and the wings and feathers unto the ostrich, which leaveth her eggs in the dust and warmeth them? Let me see if this, I don't know if that's what I'm looking for. I think that was it, but basically going and asking them. It says God speaks of nature and its beings. Oh, no, I don't think that's what I'm looking for, Salakia. I thought it was 39, it might be 38. I'm gonna read a little bit. Job 38, verse 12. Hast thou commanded the morning since thy days, and caused the day spring to know his place, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked might be shaken out of it? It is turned as clay to the seal, and stand as a garment. I don't know where my precepts are at. I think it's 38, but I can't break it down right now for some reason. Let me ask. But that's the same thing that Ezra's going through. He's asking questions that are too high for him to know. All you need to know is what the Lord told you through his prophets, man. But this was written for our learning anyway, so he wants you to know what he loves. He wants you to know that, you know, that how his prophets felt towards his people. Okay, and how he was dealing with his prophets then. Okay. When does the Lord tell Job all these questions about him not knowing about how the earth was created? Yeah, Job 38. The Lord questions Job about the creation of the earth in Job 38, specifically starting at verse 4. Where were you when I laid the foundations on the earth? That's what I was looking for. Speaking from a whirlwind, God asked these rhetorical questions to humble Job and highlight human limitations in understanding divine wisdom, power, and the mysteries of the universe. So that's basically a summary of Job 38. And I should have started at the top. I started to jump down too much, but that's what I was looking for. So you don't even have all that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on how the world was created, but you want to know, you know, how the Lord is going to redeem his people. And he already told you, but the biggest thing he's given us is prophecy, all right? And that's the only thing we got to measure the times diligently. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And it's not for everyone to even search these things. It's not in your spirit to search it, but you got men that are actively searching these things up. Why? Because that's where their spirit is. That's what it's supposed to be. Like it tells you in Revelation 19 and 10. Let me grab that real quick, and I'm going to jump back. Revelation chapter 19. We don't want to hear good news and all shit, bullshit like these. We want to know about when the Lord's coming. Revelation 19 and 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. So this is an angel that John the Revelator is on his knees worshiping. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. See what you're doing right now? Don't do that. You're not supposed to worship an angel. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren. So he's here to serve you. And he's of your brethren, just in a different body. Okay, these are the angels of the Lord. All right? So this is also what you would call an Israelite. But not everyone that's up there, but this is telling how I'm your brother, man. Not everyone in heaven is an Israelite. But they all, in heaven, everyone's in order. So when you die, you know that the nation of Israel is the best thing on this earth. All right? You know everything. Revelation 19 and 10. And of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai, worship the Most High. For the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. So a lot of your pastors, they don't have the spirit of prophecy. Okay? So they don't have the spirit of the Lord. You ask them about revelation, they don't know it. You ask them about prophecy, they don't know it. So these are not people you should be taking counsel from. The Spirit's not dealing with them. So that's another token that you can use. You got this in the book of 1 John, chapter 4 and 1. It says, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of God. Because many false prophets are gone out into the world. So you gotta try the spirit. Try the spirit by knowing. You gotta know prophecy though. What are you gonna ask them about the times to come? What does Israel have to do with Ezekiel 38? How do the Iranians play a part in the scriptures? Then you listen to IUIC. They think the Iranians are the Medes. So who are the Persians? Who's Elam? So they don't have the spirit. Okay? They ain't got it. I'm telling you, the Iranians are the Medes, man. They about to come to naught anyways. Because that reprobate spirit is about to be, that's just about to be cast down, man. Right? Let me finish this up. 2nd Ezra chapter 5. And verse 38. And I said, O Lord, that bearest rule, who may know these things, but he that have not his dwelling with men. Yeah, who may know these things, but he that does not have his dwelling with men. Talking about the angels. Okay, there's no one down here on earth that's too high for him to know. Second Ezra 5 verse 39. As for me, I am unwise. How may I then speak of these things whereof thou askest me? Yeah, I am unwise. So just like he humbled Job in Job 38, he's humbling Ezra. Ezra and Esdras are the same people, but Esdras, E-S-D-R-A-S, is Greek, and Ezra is in Hebrew. But I don't even think you say it like that in Hebrew either. Okay. I still want to read Job 38. Let me just jump there real quick. Job 38 and 1. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who have laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest, or who have stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened, or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy? Or who shut up the sea with doors, when it brake forth as it had issued out of the womb? When I made the cloud the garment thereof, and thick darkness a swaddling band for it, and brake up for it my decreed place, and set bars and doors, and said, hitherto shalt thou come, but no further, And here shall thy proud waves be stayed. Yeah, where were you when I did all of that? When the sons of God, so that's going back to his elect. Okay? We were doing all right. Down here on the earth, back in the garden. Good. Now we in these chains of darkness. Dying like men. Dying like these beasts. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse number 40. Then said he unto me, like as thou canst do none of these things that I have spoken of, even so canst thou not find out my judgment, or in the end the love that I have promised unto my people. So who are his people? The Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay? 2nd Ezra 5 verse 41, and I said, behold, O Lord, yet art thou nigh unto them that are reserved, that be reserved to the end, which are his elect. And what shall they do that have been before me? Or we that be now, or they that shall come after us? And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring. Like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. So his judgment is like a ring, where there is no slackness of the last, there is no swiftness of the first. All right? Let's look that up. Let's look that up. 2nd Ezra 5 verse 42. Because a ring, it's like, it's 360, but no slackness of the last, no swiftness of the first. So we'll have to do 2nd Ezra. It says, I would like my judgment unto a ring. The Most High is comparing his judgment to a ring or a circle. A ring has no beginning or end. That is out of order. Everything moves in its proper place and time. That's right. So the judgment's coming regardless, whether you think, whether it's taking a long time or swift. It's still coming, man. Okay? Meaning the Lord's judgments are perfectly ordered. Nothing happens too early or too late. Everything unfolds according to his timing. That's right. Everything unfolds according to his timing. So, we're trying to understand when the Lord's going to send his judgment. But like I said, it's not, only he knows when he's going to do it. No slackness, no swiftness to it, man. It's all perfect timing. And you're going to see that when he judges this nigga. It was at the best time to do it. At the height of it all. I think we in day 13 with this Iranian bullshit. I think it's 13 over here. Yesterday was day 12, so it's day 13 over here. But it's really day 14 over there. Because they're hours ahead of us. So the news you reading, that shit already happened. That shit's done. Then they're moving on to other things, and they got to write about that. And what were they doing yesterday? He was talking about blowing up. There was 3 tankers he blew up. He was talking about putting mines in the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know if they did it or not, but people are so dumb, man. Somebody's walking by. Alright, these people are just so stupid. Anyways, he gives a precept, Ecclesiastes 3:1, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Right. So there's a time when the Lord's going to judge you. There's a time that the Lord's going to save you. There's a time for everything. He said there's a time for war and a time for peace. And right now we're in that time of war. There is no slackness of the last. Slackness means delay or being slow. The last events, the final judgment and destruction will not be delayed once their time arrives. When the appointed time comes, things will happen quickly. So, just like it tells you in Habakkuk 2, verse 3. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And Habakkuk said that a long time ago. But we know a day with the Lord is 1,000 years down here on earth. So his timing is just, it ain't on the same time as you. But in all actuality, it's all short. It's only been 2 days in the eyes of the Lord. Okay? And that's him revealing more information to you that he don't think like you. The fact that the time and point where he's addressing Ezra, he was probably doing mad other stuff at that time. That's why he said, Uriel, tell Uriel, Uriel, go speak to him, man. I got things I gotta do. You know, right? And you gotta be, in order to receive the vision, you gotta be afflicted. That's like him breaking that fallow ground so you can understand, like, listen, man, he's showing you, he's making you suffer, but it's really so he can give you this word, give you the seed. Second Esdras, am I done with that? Let me finish this. It says, even so there is no swiftness of the first. The earlier events in prophecy cannot be rushed. The Lord will not speed up prophecy before the proper time. Everything must unfold step by step. Right. The overall meaning, the Most High is telling Ezra, do not worry about why judgment seems delayed. The Lord has a perfect timeline. Prophecy moves like a circle, completing itself exactly when it should. This answers Ezra's concern about when the wicked world would finally be judged. Right. So his judgment's like a ring, it's going to come. And when it's time to come, it's going to come. But it's definitely coming. Second Esdras chapter 5 and verse 43. So I answered and said, couldst thou not make those that have been made and be now, and that are for to come at once, that thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner? So he's hastening the day. You know, we all want the Lord to come. But if he come too early, then you ain't going to be prepared. You ain't going to be perfected. You ain't going to be where he wants you to be to get through it. So we got to trust in his timing that he can have us go through what we need to go through so that we're found blameless when he brings forth his judgment. Because we might all think, okay, I did all the work, been obedient, I kept all the high holy days, I kept the Sabbath day holy. You know, I done all these things, and then you get judged with the rest of the heathen. You know, that's why his time is perfect. He knows what he's trying to do to bring forth that cluster of grapes, like it tells you in 2 Esdras 9, verse 22. Let's grab that as a matter of fact. 2 Esdras 9, verse 22. Let the multitude perish then which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept in my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. So he's making you perfect. Okay. 2 Esdras chapter 5, verse 44. Then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein. So the creature may not haste above the maker. The creature is what was created. So that's talking about our Lord. I mean, that's talking about we're the creature. Okay? We were created. We can't haste above the maker. The maker knows that perfect time. He done already settled it in his mind. It's all playing out. Okay? Neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein. I don't know what that means. Neither shall the world, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created. What does that mean? may not haste above the maker. The creature refers to man or creation, and the maker is the Most High. The meaning is man cannot rush the Most High. We understand that. Neither may the world hold them that at once that shall be created therein. This means everything happens in stages. The world cannot contain everything all at the same time. The Most High brings things into existence gradually according to his plan. That's right. Imagine just put everyone in the world, everyone at once, man. That's crazy. So he's gradually bringing forth his will. 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 45. And I said, as thou hast said unto thy servant, that thou which gavest life to all, hast given life at once to the creature that thou hast created, and the creature bear it, even so it might now also bear them that now be present at once. And he said unto me, ask the womb, I think this was the piece I've been looking for. Ask the womb, ask the womb of a woman, and say unto her, if thou bringest forth children, why dost thou it not together, but one after another? Pray her therefore to bring forth 10 children at once. Right. You know, ask a woman why you only bring one child at a time. Why you don't bring forth 10 at a time, all at once? You know, and that's the Lord showing you. It's the same thing with this world. And bringing one thing, one event, one person at a time. He's just bringing it all to come to pass. Okay. 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 47. And I said, she cannot, but must do it by distance of time. Then said he unto me, even so have I given the womb of the earth to those that be sown in it in their times. Right. So everything got an appointed time. And you can't rush it. It's like trying to make a woman bring forth 10 babies at once. Nope, one at a time, man. Just like these prophecies. Man. That's the baby right there, man. These prophecies being fulfilled, coming out. All the way up to the point when Yahweh Shai returns and brings forth that destruction. You're going to labor in pains like a woman in travail to that point when he brings forth when the baby comes. And that's Yahweh Shai, when he cracks the clouds. That's his game over right there. Just like it was game over when he was born, and it's going to be game over when he returns. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 48. Then said he unto me, even so have I given the womb of the earth to those that be sown in it in their times. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belong to the age, even so have I disposed the world which I created. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belong to the age. So a young child cannot bring forth the things that belong to the age. I'm trying to think of an example and I can't. Let's see what it says. I think that's 2nd Ezra 5, verse 50. I want to see what it says. Seeing thou hast now given me the way, Ezra is saying that the angel has allowed him to ask questions and reason about the Lord's judgment. Early in the chapter, the angel told Ezra that man cannot fully comprehend the ways of the Most High, but Ezra is still trying to understand the timing of the world's end. And that's the spirit of prophecy right there. And it's good that Ezra you got that chance to talk to the Most High. You try to get all the answers. That's what he did. He tried to get, you know, he's trying to get that measurement. says, our mother, the mother here is a symbol for the world or the present age of creation, that she is young. What the hell is this talking about? I'm looking at the wrong. That's not the. That's not what I'm looking for. That's what. What precept am I looking for? Yeah, 2 Ezra 5 verse 50. That she is young, draweth nigh unto age. Ezra is arguing that the world now seems old, meaning it appears to be near its end. So 2 Ezra 5 and 50 shows Ezra reasoning that the world was once young, now it appears old and full of wickedness, therefore the end should be approaching. Right. Let's read that again. 2 Ezra 5 verse 50. And I asked and said, seeing thou hast now given me the way, I will proceed to speak before thee. For our mother, of whom thou hast told me that she is young, draweth now nigh unto age. So if the mother's talking about the world, she is young, draweth nigh unto age. So she's it's getting old. It's at the point where it's almost a wrap. So we at the end of the thing right now. 2 Ezra chapter 5 verse 51, he answered me and said, ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, wherefore are not they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? So what that basically saying is, your firstborn gets all your strength, and then, later on the children get weaker as you get older. If you bring forth children later on in life. But just like now, we're not as strong as we used to be generations ago. Okay, even when you read the scriptures, there's a scripture where King David takes the Moabite's crown and puts it on his head, and he said it weighed like 3 talents of gold or something like that. That's like 60 pounds or 50 pounds for a crown to put on your head. That'll snap somebody's neck, man. Let me grab that precept. So that shows you that King David was of a much greater stature. Even Goliath must have been, he could have been 17 feet tall, 15, 16 feet. And King David could have been like 10 feet tall, 11 feet. And that was probably, they were a lot taller than him. Let me find this precept real quick. King David puts on the Moabite's crown. Second Samuel 12 verse 30. Second Samuel 12 verse 30. I'll start at 26. And Joab fought against Rabbah of the children of Ammon and took the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah and have taken the city of waters. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and it be called after my name. And David gathered all the people together and went to Rabbah and fought against it and took it. And he took their king's crown from off his head, and the weight whereof was a talent of gold with the precious stones, and it was set on David's head. And he brought forth the spoil of the city in great abundance. And he brought forth the people that were therein, and put them under saws, and under harrows of iron, and under axes of iron, and made them pass through the bricklet. And thus did he unto all the cities of the children of Ammon. So David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. So it was Ammonites, not Moabites. But that word in 2 Samuel 12 and 30, that word talent, instead of a talent of gold, it says a round weight, talent of gold. It doesn't tell me, and I gotta look it up. When we look at the root word, he said he put them under saws. So he was actually putting somebody under a saw, man. That's crazy. Talent. Let's look it up. Former weight and unit of currency used especially by the ancient Romans and Greeks, a mighty steed. Yeah, how much is it though? How much in pounds was a talent of gold? It says a talent of gold generally weighed between 75 and 100 pounds. So that's how much that crown weighed. So imagine a 5 foot something putting 100 pounds on his head, man. Those crowns were heavy. You don't need to put, nowadays we'd probably want something, not even 20 pounds on your head. Maybe like 5 pounds. You want something light. So that goes to show you they were of a greater stature then. 2nd Esdras chapter 5, in verse number 52, say unto her, wherefore are not they whom thou hast now brought forth like these that were before, but less of stature? And she shall answer thee, they that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise. Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you. So you are less of stature than they that were before you. Okay? Just like the people today. We're all less of stature. 2nd Esdras chapter 5 and 55. And so are they that come after you, less than ye, as the creatures which now begin to be old and have passed over the strength of youth. Then said I, Lord, I beseech thee, if I have found favor in thy sight, show thy servant by whom thou visitest thy creature. That's pretty much it. So Ezra tried to get all these answers from the Lord, and he got as much as he could, but you know, it's all about prophecy, man. You know, you gotta wait for the Lord to do what he gotta do so we can get to the kingdom. Okay? And you know, the Lord's thoughts are higher than our thoughts. We just know what he told us to, most importantly, he told us to be obedient, so that's what we gotta do. And the only thing we can do when you read up more without going all the way to 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter, he tells you to measure down the times diligently within itself. So that's what we're doing. But I'm going to end it here. Lord's will, this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Shalom, Abad Babal, Kwam Yashrab.